Welcome to today's video. Today we'll be recapping a 2013 American thriller movie titled Prisoners starring Jack Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and smash that button. Let's get into the video. The movie begins with Keller and his son Ralph driving back home from a hunt. Later that day, Keller and his entire family, his son Ralph, his wife Grace, and their daughter Anna, head over to their neighbors for Thanksgiving dinner. At the door, they are greeted and welcomed by Franklin and Nancy Birch. Both families settle for dinner with Franklin and Nancy's daughters. Joy and Eliza are also present. After a while, their Anna and Joy take permission and head outside to play. Both girls start messing with an RV outside and they are caught and returned to the house by Ralph and Eliza. After dinner, both girls head out again, but this time to find a whistle that they previously lost. Once again, they headed out, but this time tragedy struck. It's already becoming late and Keller asks about the girls. He goes to his house to find them, but he does not see them. He gets worried and he alerts everyone. No one knows where the girls are and they get tensed up. After searching around and realizing that the RV the girls played with was no longer there, they call the police. This takes us to another major character in the movie, Detective Loki. Loki is alone in a restaurant eating peacefully and he gets a call about the missing RV. Luckily, he finds the RV and immediately chases it down. Alex Jones is the one driving the RV and immediately he notices that he is being chased and tries to speed away. Unfortunately for him, he crashes into a tree and Loki captures him. Loki takes Alex back to the station and there he interrogates him. After hours of serious interrogation, Alex still refuses to comply and he denies all allegations against him. The police then discover that Alex is developmentally disabled, having an IQ of a 10-year-old. A forensic team is then sent to properly check the RV for any evidence linking it to the kidnapping, but nothing is found. Loki does not stop there. He also goes to Alex's house to investigate. He meets Alex's aunt, Aunt Holly. Still, no evidence is found. The next day, Loki goes to Keller's house to comfort them. He meets Grace and assures her that he will find the girls. In the middle of the discussion, Keller joins them, and he's not happy to hear that no evidence was found against Alex and Alex will have to be released. This news makes Keller very mad. Loki leaves the house and we then see him arrive at Father Patrick's house. He enters the house and sees Father Patrick lying unconscious on the floor. He does not really care about that until he finds his way to a basement in the house and uncovers a corpse tied to a chair in the basement. He goes back to wake Father Patrick and ask him about the corpse. Father Patrick claims that he killed the man when he confessed to having killed a number of children. He describes the man as waging a war against God. Loki takes note of a maze pendant worn around the neck of the corpse. The next day, we see Alex getting released from police custody. Keller violently confronts Jones outside the police station. Alex says to Dover, "They didn't cry until I left them, although no one else present hears this." Dover spies on Jones and hears him singing one of his daughter's favorite songs, which convinces him that Jones knows where the girls are. Keller abducts and keeps him in an abandoned apartment building left to him by his late father. With the reluctant help of Joy's father, Franklin Keller tortures Alex for days, but they can't get anything out of him. Franklin is still very reluctant and wants them to hand Alex over to the police, but Keller does not see any point in that. The next night, a candlelight vigil is organized for the girls by neighbors. Franklin is present, and so is Loki. Loki sees a weird man wearing a hoodie, acting suspiciously. The man's name is Brad Taylor. Loki sees Brad place a teddy bear among the candles, and that just doesn't sit right with him. When Loki approaches Brad for questioning, he runs. The suspect evades Loki, but Loki manages to create a composite sketch of the suspect that is released to the public. Later, Grace hears shuffling coming from Anna's bedroom, and after searching the room, discovers her own bedroom window has been opened. She reports the break-in to the police, and Loki comes to investigate. Loki notices that Grace is under the influence of prescription drugs and does not take the incident seriously, but he searches the house with Grace. Grace then takes Loki to Keller's basement, and they see that the basement is filled with survival supplies. Loki also notices a half-empty bag of lye, and Grace tells Loki that Keller has previously told her he has been out late each night helping the police search for Anna. It is now obvious to Loki and Grace that it is not true. It is clear that Keller is up to something and Loki is suspicious of him. Loki's suspicion grows massively when Alex is declared missing. Loki starts following Keller. He catches up with Keller and him that Alex is missing, and Keller tells him that Alex left town because he's guilty. He angrily tells Loki to stop following him and do his job by finding his daughter instead. Loki learns that Keller inherited the apartment complex after finding an obituary for Keller's father, a corrections officer who died by suicide years earlier. When Loki confronts Keller at the complex the next day, Keller is currently in the building interrogating and torturing Alex. but he sees Loki arrive at the building from the window. He meets Loki in the door and they talk for a bit, but in the middle of their discussion, Loki receives a call about Brad and he leaves immediately. We then see Loki arrive at Brad's house, and before Brad can get away again, Loki captures him. He calls for backup and continues searching the house. He sees that the walls are covered in drawings of intricate mazes. He then heads to a back room where he discovers locked crates filled with maze books, snakes, and bloody children's clothing. The clothes are recognized by the girls' families as belonging to their daughters. At the station, Brad admits to the abduction, although he does not provide any information about where the girls or their bodies can be found. Loki interrogates Brad and the whole session got heated. Brad then grabs a gun from one of the officers who came into the room and he shoots himself, dying on the spot. But interestingly, the confession does not change Keller's mind. He still believes that Alex knows something about the kidnapping and continues torturing and interrogating him. Alex finally speaks, mentioning escaping from a maze. Keller visits Alex's aunt, Aunt Holly, to see her reaction when he mentions mazes. Holly says that Alex does not speak much, being very careful of what he says ever since an accident involving snakes when he was young. After a while and serious investigation, the police realize that the blood found on the children's clothing is not actually human blood, but pig's blood and child-sized mannequins are found buried in Taylor's yard, and no actual bodies. A forensic profiler determines that Alex faked his own abduction, reenacting crimes from a true crime book about a serial child abductor. Days later, Joy is found, but Anna is still missing. Keller visits Joy in the hospital, and she tells him, "You were there," prompting him to rush off, believing he knows where Anna is. Loki tries to stop him but loses track of him. Dover returns to Holly's house, intent on revenge, but Holly takes him by surprise at gunpoint. She reveals that she and her husband abducted many children. She shoots Keller in the leg and imprisons him in a pit where he finds a whistle belonging to his daughter. Loki arrives at Holly's house and discovers Anna being injected with poison by Holly. Loki orders Holly to show her hands, but she turns and shoots at him, grazing his forehead. Loki shoots and kills Holly and rushes Anna to the hospital, where she recovers. At the hospital, Grace questions whether Keller will face jail time if found. At the Jones residence, police digging in the yard inform Loki that the frozen ground will delay their search for weeks. As Loki prepares to leave, he hears a faint whistle and turns to investigate, and the whole screen goes black. That's all for the video. Subscribe if you enjoyed it.